But I do think that there's an increased amount of, I think, social anxiety that I hear a lot of people talking about now, especially younger people.
We are back for brand new episodes of Catfish, and I swear it gets weirder and weirder every year. Do you guys feel the same way, or are you just so in it?
We're not trying to make it weirder.
No, people are getting weirder.
Things are just getting weirder.
Is it like post-pandemic? We're all kind of weirder, or what do you think it is, Tech?
I do think that there is a post-pandemic element for sure. You know, just the sort of lack of socialization for those 10 months or whatever it was, people kind of getting back out into the world, or in some cases, finally meeting the person that they may have started talking to over the pandemic.
Yeah, we are doing a lot of met in the pandemic episodes now. Like, okay, we, started talking in 2020. Obviously, we couldn't meet up, but now everybody's everywhere. So like, why are we still not able to meet up?
Right.
FaceTime, which is insane because we all had Wi-Fi during the pandemic. Let's be honest.
More Wi-Fi than ever back then. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it feels like there's a lot of emotion tied to those kind of cases. I mean, there's emotion tied to all of them, but especially meeting each other during such a difficult time. Do you find yourself really feeling for those people?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everyone has trauma and baggage to some degree, but I do think that there's an increased amount of, I think, social anxiety that I hear a lot of people talking about now, especially younger people, whether it was brought on by their experience with the pandemic. I know a lot of people lost family or friends during that time. So we've seen a lot of episodes now where people over the last couple of years had traumatic experiences, many of which were the loss of a loved one. And the person they were talking to was that sort of rock for them, was the person that they counted on, who emotionally was there for them. So we're seeing, I think, connections that have been made in the last few years that are particularly strong because of the sort of shared trauma that we all experienced.
Yeah. And with things like Facetune and all sorts of other things that I'm not even sure are out there, it feels like it's easier than ever to catfish someone and to be catfished. What kind of things are you running into in your investigations that you're like, oh my gosh, they're getting smarter and smarter every time?
Yeah, I mean, we had an episode that already aired, I think in the last group of episodes that aired, where someone was using pictures of themselves, but they were using FaceApp to completely, morph and transform. The photo was crazy, but she was like, it's me.
Yeah.
It's just me with a filter and like glam and all these things that you can do in apps now. So you can really say that it's you, but can you?
But you know what? I think, honestly, surprising and somewhat disappointing is that even with all the technology available to catfish, they're usually pretty lazy.
Yeah, they usually do.
They do the least.
Yeah,
like there's something about successfully catfishing someone that almost requires you do the less. Like, because the more you try to do or make, the easier it is to detect your fake, right? So the smaller your footprint. Oh, I don't have social media. Oh, I only can send you a few pictures. Like, it almost sort of limits your exposure, but also I think makes you more mysterious and interesting and like draws people in. So whether they realize it or not, catfish tend to not utilize all of the tools available to them because it almost makes it more detectable,
Oh, fascinating. There's so much going on, especially in these new episodes. I've gotten to see a couple of them, and I'm just curious if you could give us a little teaser for what is coming this season as we move forward, or these new episodes.
Chaos. A lot of money being spent.
A
lot of money. I'm shocked at how much money.
I mean, life savings.
Yeah, no, literally. Social security numbers, literally.
Wow.
Tattoos,
a
big
lot of tattoos,
tattoos of the wrong just not wrong.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Altogether wrong.
We got some fun co-hosts.
Mhm.
I filled in for Kamie when she was off doing other things.
Mhm.
So that's always, I think, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Laura, Neve's wife, Laura's coming back.
Fun.
Percy, the
My friend Percy,
comedian.
yeah.
Percy's
Wait,
coming.
there was someone else. Oh,
Devin from the challenge. So, you know, we've got
Fun.
TV family in the mix. But you know, mostly Neve and I shaking our heads and pounding our palms, you know, face palming
Yeah.
all the crazy things that keep happening on the show. It's never a dull moment, that's for sure.
No, it really isn't. And you both have seen such wild stuff together. What do you think it is about working with one another that is so positive and really gets down to the bottom of these things?
I'll let you talk about all the positive things.
I think Well, I think, you know, my relationship with Max in the first 7 seasons of the show was very sort of best bud, brotherly. We were
Bros.
often, right. It was referred to by many as a bromance.
Yeah.
And that was because we'd known each other since I was, you know, I think 12 or something, or maybe even 10, I don't know. And he'd been in my life, and we know we have a lot in common. Unlike Kamie, but our relationship, which has obviously grown over the years, I think has similarly kind of developed into a brother-sister
Yeah, unfortunately.
vibe, which I think people really like. But Kamie, you know, we were nervous, obviously. We tried out a few different co-hosts, but you know, I didn't know how the Catfish family would take to Kamie, and it's incredible. I mean, I'll even post occasional videos or content of me and Max, and people will all say, "Oh, we love Max, we miss him," but Kamie's so great. She's the best. Like everyone's just, you know, just it's become really Kamie's show, I think, at this point.
I'm paying all of them under the table. Sliding
It's
them
just
all. They're just bots. It's just me just sending them out. No, I agree. I think the dynamic, I think people love our dynamic together because Neve is always like, you know, looking on the bright side and optimistic. And I'm always like, absolutely not. And
funny dad pun jokes.
Right. They always tune in for
You
the
roll your
puns.
eyes.
I get a lot of really crazy reactions and faces that I just can't help. And I think people love that. I mean, I'm an oldest child. Neve's a youngest child. So this is his first time being able to like be the big brother. And I have to deal with the part of that every day. So, and as an oldest sister, you can only imagine how that makes me feel.
Yeah. Oh, I have 5 younger sisters.
Yeah, I have 5 younger sisters, and Neve is the youngest of 3.
No,
4.
Well,
2.
I have a brother, and then I have an older stepsister.
Right. So that's where the energy comes from. But we have a lot of fun doing the show. So I think that people see that and they love that, and you know, our different perspectives and the way that we support people, I think also is something that attracts people to the show.
Yeah, I mean, you both have been working together and developing this dynamic for a while now, but what is it that keeps you both interested in the phenomenon of catfishing? I mean, I know we're all interested, but we're not in it every single day, you know, diving into these investigations.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that I love about this job. One is that, you know, because of the nature of the show, of what we're doing, and that the people that we're helping are real people with real lives whose stories are happening in real time, we can't plan production. We're constantly fielding people's requests to help. We have a team of people that goes through those and vets stories and makes sure it's legit. And then, you know, 1 out of every 100 makes it to the finish line, and we get an email that says, "Hey, we just cleared a story. We're filming next week." So there's a lot of time where we're not filming, and then we are filming, and then we'll take you get a few days off, or a week off here, a week off. Like, so we always have a chance to kind of reset. There have been a few times where we have filmed 2 back to back, and by like the middle of the second one, I do start to feel a little like fatigued, because it is a lot to mentally and emotionally absorb these stories and put yourself in these people's lives and try to advise them and empathize with them. So after 5 or 6 days of that, it can be tough. So it's great that we get to do it up and then take a break and sort of go back to our lives and then come back fresh. But also every episode is different in every possible way. I mean, from the people, their age, where they are, the situation they're in. I mean, no two are ever the same.
Right.
So it's just always fun.
Yeah. I think people have this misconception that Nev and I are in on something before we go into filming. We have no idea what is happening ever. We literally open the laptop, we read the email, and that's our first time hearing about anyone, knowing anything.
Where we're going. Honestly, the only clue that I ever get to what could be happening is like, if I know we're going to be filming for 3 days or 4 days, because if it's 4 days, then I think, there must be a travel. So, okay, it's not there. We're not in one city. Like the catfish must live somewhere else. Yeah. That's like the only thing that I ever kind of know ahead of time, but it's not always true because sometimes there's just like a scheduling conflict and we can't shoot like one day because they have a job or something. It's like, you never know.
They don't know anything.
Yeah.
You're tracking down the clues even about your own schedule. I love it.
No, literally. Or sometimes like they'll book our next travel by accident in advance. And like, I'll get an alert on my phone, like, your flight ready to check in. And I'm like, where are we going? But I try not to look because it keeps, the excitement going.
Keeping the mystery for all of us. Well, I can't wait to see.
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can't wait to see the rest of the episodes in this new batch. Is there anything else that you wanted to let us know before I let you move on with your day?
Well, it's going to be the same catfish that you know and love, but it's definitely going to have its twists and turns. And, there are some love stories sprinkled out.
That's true. We have one happy ending.
We have one. Definitely. But we've had a few where we thought like, this could work. Yeah. And then one of the people is like, no, it's not going to work. And we're shocked.
Right.
So, I think you should expect the unexpected always.
This is also, I think, the season where I really I was full tilt with all of my jewelry.
Oh, yeah.
I got really into rings.
Yeah. He's trying to be me, just like
I've reined it in since then. I'm sort of like, but
I have a TikTok idea for that.
Oh, yeah.
That we have to do.
So we've got new sartorial choices, new catfish.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see the new episodes when they air October 3rd. And thank you so much for being with me today.